The Finance Committee meeting for the McLean County Board to order. And we have all members present. Member Woolrab obviously is not here, but she has resigned. So I do need a motion to approve the minutes for the December 1st, 2020. And Member Erickson gave me the motion and Member Friedrich seconded that motion. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting those meeting minutes, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I do believe we have an appearance by a member of county employee this evening. We only have one, is that correct? Okay, we have Ms. Amy Brooke.
I should have known that. Okay. My name is Amy Brooke, and I recently sent all of you an email, and I hope that you read that, and I thank you for considering what I had to say there. I appreciate tonight that you'll be addressing the issue of pandemic pay. It's an important topic, and based on what I read in the packet, I could encourage you to vote on it and count it as a win for me. The majority of my time the last 2 years has been on site, but I am a little concerned about how it reads. Perhaps I don't understand how on-site would be calculated. I addressed this concern in my email before I even knew it would be in the packet. It reads as if people who primarily work from home would be excluded from pandemic pay. I previously worked in county administration, and I know there may be things that I am not privy to, but this concerns me. I fear this may devalue a large group of people's work during the pandemic because of where they physically did their jobs. This includes people from across the health department that learn to do case investigation and work 6 to 7 days a week for months, but might be discounted because of working at home some or most of the time. It excludes people who have accounting jobs and had to manage thousands and thousands of more dollars from different grants, but did it from home. And it penalizes people who worked from home at the encouragement of the county, the Illinois Department of Public Health, and the CDC. Stay at home and flatten the curve was the message that we got. The pandemic has been about the virus, but we shouldn't dismiss the social, emotional, and mental costs of the pandemic. The best solution is the one that recognizes the most employees for combating the virus, and that includes newer employees. Incentivizing the vaccine reaches the most employees and makes the most public health sense, and I stress the public health sense of it. I'm vaccinated and I work the majority of the pandemic boots on the ground. And if I would win either way, why am I making it an issue right now? One, it isn't done until the county board votes on it. Two, I care about the people that I work with. And having worked for the county for 14 years, I know people across the county and people who would be impacted by the decision. Three, there's no perfect answer. Someone is going to be unhappy, but in this case, the best solution is the one that recognizes the most employees and is in line with public health. One other thing that I noticed when I was reading the packet was that the current proposal eliminates the incentive or the pandemic pay for people who are in above class 12. I'm not sure why that is, and it does not impact me, but I know people who work really hard that are in the classes above class 12. So I respectfully ask you to consider the first option that county administration brought to you and incentivize the vaccine for employees. And I thank you for your consideration, and I thank Ms. Taylor and her staff for the hard work that I know that they have done on not only this proposal, but the previous proposals and the budgets throughout the year. Thank you. And I will be staying for the rest of the meeting if you have questions afterwards.
Thank you, Amy. We'll move on to departmental matters. And we have 4A1A, and that's request approval of a 2022 HAVA election security grant acceptance agreement found on pages 3 through 8. And may I have a motion to approve that? We have Member Lehman had the motion and Member Erickson seconded that. And this, it doesn't, I don't believe that Ms. Michael is here, but it is, we have two grants, one from the Illinois State Board of Education, or excuse me, elections, and that is for the amount of $64,589. And then we have a Help America Vote Act federal grant, which that is this one, and it is $20,390. And those are all on page 3. And the details then are within the packet. So does anybody have any questions? All right, seeing none, we will vote. All in favor of accepting the HAVA election security grant acceptance agreement, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We'll move on to 4A1B, and I just discussed that. That was the $64,000 grant from the state of Illinois election board. And does anybody have any questions? Kind of, all right, all in favor, say aye. Oh, I did not get a motion. I am so sorry. Thank you. Member Thompson made the motion, and we have a second by Member Erickson. Thank you for keeping me straight, and I know. All in favor of accepting this motion, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Very good. So that then moves us to 4A1C, and that is where we need to adjust our budget. And so we have a request of approval of emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2022 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance in the county clerk's department. And may I have a motion? I have a motion by Member Friedrich and a second by Member Lehman. And as you can see on page 11, making those adjustments to adding those to the specific line items in the budget. And so all in favor of this emergency appropriation ordinance, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Very good. Motion passes. There doesn't appear to be any other information. All of the county clerk and the recorder, the recorder's office, the documents are in our packet, and that will move us on to 4B. We don't have any 1, so we'll go to 2, and that's our monthly report with Marshall Thomas. And Marshall is here, and so we would love to hear from Marshall, as we do every month. We enjoy hearing from her every month that she's here. And do you want to share any insights into your statistics or any of the reporting you have, or information that's not necessarily in our packet?
I think reviewing our numbers, we're trending normally, so that's really good. Adoptions are going good. Transfers are going good. Animals are great. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I just ran up here. Busy afternoon. I want to take a special moment to thank Chairman McIntyre for helping me say thank you to B-Link with State Farm. They held their Giving Tree, formerly known Giving Tree Drive, and added some donations for the shelter. So thank you, Chairman McIntyre. And it was with Michelle Forbes. I got their names here. I don't want to say them wrong. Michelle Forbes, Dawn Shelton, and Heather Paul. And they are with B-Link and State Farm, and they came out, and we had a great day and was able to give animal donations and things like that. So I appreciate it very much.
Does anybody have any
In my
questions?
head. I'm falling apart.
We have Member Erickson has a question.
I have a question unrelated to the report. When I got COVID-19 in November of 2020, the first thing I did was I called the vet because I wanted to make sure Shakira didn't get it. And I've been reading in the paper, now I'll be honest with you, I just read the headline about the
Sure.
zoo and the zoo having animals out there. I thought that's what it said.
Correct, the snow leopards.
Okay, are we having any COVID? And can these animals get COVID?
So
mean-
I've been in direct contact with our county veterinarian. We are monitoring things and we have conversations as needed. We have not noted or seen anything that would be suspect COVID within our feline or canines, but we are taking extra precautionary measures as we have since the beginning of the pandemic, where we're all wearing face coverings to protect staff, the community, and the animals. And we're doing appointments based scheduling so that we can only have one person or one family group in the facility at one time, where they have a tour guide in essence. So we can restrict touching from kennel to kennel or exposure back and forth. So, and of course, administration helped us get some extra sanitizing equipment, ionizing sprayers that sanitize, and a much more micro, I think it's a micro sticking, where it sprays it and it sticks onto the surface differently. So we've been staying on top of that since the beginning. It's been very important. I hope I answered your question.
Well, yeah, it did. I mean, is there any, has it changed? I mean, my vet told me at least this was in November 2020, because I was thinking I was going to have to quarantine my dog or something. I don't know.
I think the AVMA and the CDC says that you should shelter your animal in place and, do the same kind of type quarantine that you would, keeping your pet isolated from you if you can. We have quietly helped families out that maybe they are short on food or supplies, so that we can help their pets stay in their home, not needing them to come to the shelter. So we've been seeing a little bit more of an uptick with people calling and needing assistance from that next paycheck. Maybe they might have lost a few hours on their work schedule or something. And so we've received donations from the community, like from B-Link. And then when people come in and need assistance, then we can offer them a couple bags of dog or cat food, some supplies, things that they might need just to help buffer that zone. And so I got to give staff a lot of the credit. They've been able to help triage those citizens and help them. We do a lot of our work out in the parking lot right now, but like today is extremely cold. So it's just been tough all the way around, but they've done a great job in reducing factors for exposure and getting the facility construction halfway done. So that's getting so exciting to see that finally getting completed. So I think we're doing really well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for asking a great question. Sorry.
Any other great questions
right.
for Marshall? It's actually on the, it shows up on the video, so. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Again, please, we always want you to thank your staff, and please tell them we do recognize their efforts of working under some very difficult situations, but in addition, very cold situations and very hot situations in
Yes.
the summer when you have all of this stuff going on in your parking lot. So thank you.
I will tell them, and I know they appreciate it. And just hearing your feedback and support means a lot. And the community's, saying thank you too. And we're all in this together, and we're working together to, accomplish the same goal. And so I'm really heartwarmed to see that all the things that we've done together are really coming together. So thank you to you and the community.
Yeah, well, your leadership is greatly appreciated also.
you. I don't have a good hair day because of the wind, but
We
we're
all
hanging in there.
have, we all have those days, don't we, Bill? we're going to move on, and we are at 4B1A. There was nothing that, oh, excuse me, 4C1A. We have Michelle Anderson is here. It's always good to see her. Hello. And she has a request of approval of an agreement for an actuarial services. And may I have a motion to put that on the floor? We have a motion by Member Thompson and a second by Member Friedrich. And please enlighten us on this. I believe we've seen this before, but I think we have members that have not, so.
We have. This is our annual GASB 75 report. It's our post-employment benefit that we need for the CAFR. And this is the roll forward year. So every other year we have to do a full evaluation, and then the off year we do a roll forward. So basically they just look if you guys would have settled a union contract with significant changes, that would obviously, peak something. We may have to go back, but basically they just look at changes. We confirm no major changes. They look at our staffing and they do a roll forward. So this is the cheap year, and then the off year, it's 4-ish times this. So, and then I know last year, Ms. Dreyer and Ms. Taylor reminded me, I have a 16-month-old who doesn't sleep, that you guys want us to go out to bid, and we can do that. When we first put it out to bid, I will admit it was a number of years ago. Like maybe Mr. Zunick was still here. I know Mr. Lindbergh was. And we mailed it to like every actuary. And this is a really niche thing, doing governmental OPEB. So we can definitely put it out. I'm just not sure we're going to get a lot better pricing, if any better pricing, because they were the cheapest by far. And I also wanted to point out that a big reason, I believe anyway, that we rotate auditors is for comfort level, and then maybe trusting Ms. McNeil and I, and, if we're trying to cut costs, like, well, Becky and Michelle wouldn't, do anything wrong with this, we'll do this. I've never seen these people. We correspond in about 8 emails a year, so there's no familiarity. We exchange Excel spreadsheets. So, I just wanted to differentiate why this maybe isn't something, it's related to the audit, so I don't want to act like it's not. It's the numbers get put in, but it's not the same. It's not the same people that, Becky and I see every year for 6 years and have a real relationship with.
Appreciate that. I am going to ask Ms. Taylor. I know that there are in our ordinances, I believe, that say certain things have to go for to out for bid. Is this one of those things that has to go out for bid? And if you don't know that, if I'm putting you on the spot, you can please let us know, because we don't have to do it this year. It's not, or this month. But if you do know that, it would be nice to know, or if you could let us know if it's absolutely has to go out. And if it doesn't, then why would it not?
So I would like to refer back to our procurement policies and our financial policies before I answer. I will tell you that the original report from Nyhart included several years and still would have fallen underneath our $30,000 cutoff for doing a formal proposal. So we could, in subsequent years, just do a formal quotation where we ask for 3 quotations, and that would be following our policies. But as far as the requirement of bidding it out a certain number of years, I would have to refer back. I don't believe so, but I wouldn't want to speak to that completely.
If you can put that on our, maybe on your piece next month, and then get back to us.
Yeah.
Because it's always good to go out for bid if we need to, but in this case, it might not.
Well, and I know, when we did this originally, the board was like, well, we have an actuarial firm or 2 here in town. Well, we sent it to them. This is not the kind of work they do. with the industries that a number of you were employed by, they're more insurance. And that this is completely different type of actuarial work than that is. But I would say if we're going to do RFP, save me some stress, and maybe we do it in like this summer so we can have the firm in place. Because if we switch, the first year is kind of a, yeah.
Any questions before we vote? I know we went off topic a little bit,
We
but not
strayed.
too much. But does anybody have any questions related to this or the discussion on the procurement? Yes, Member Barnett.
So just to be clear, we're voting to approve this for this year, and then at a future meeting, we'll discuss the possibility of going out to bid and whether there are merits to that in the future.
It could be an RFP, which is a request for bid or a request for proposal. So,
Sure.
so one is significantly bigger than another, and if that's necessary, if it makes sense. Again, I'm not saying we shouldn't, I'm just
And that'll be,
wanting to get everything, next meeting, I
okay.
see.
And I will say that when we first did this, due to the implementation year on the GASB and the way our fiscal year falls, the town of Normal, the town of Normal and the city of Bloomington already had their bids in for their OPEB work. And since they have a police union, a fire union, this union, that union, I mean, the city of Bloomington's, I mean, it was like 2 pages worth of unions. And so their evaluation rate is exponentially higher than ours. They have tons more employees, they have lots more unions. And so when we saw those numbers, I recognized that it was going to be cheaper than them, but we weren't 110% sure where we were going to fall, because at the time, Mr. Lindbergh and I recognized that we were not as large as them, it wouldn't be as complex as them, but we weren't sure what kind of a discount that would get us. It got us a substantial one at that time. So we kind of put it out because it was new, and what we were looking at from our neighbors was a lot higher, talking like maybe audit level. So guess it pays to be old and be here a while, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Lots of history, thank you. Did that answer your question, Member Barnett? Very good, thank you. All in favor of 4C1A, and that is the service agreement with Howard Neihart and Company for actuarial services, say aye. Pose same sign. Okay, and then we're going to move on to 4C2A, and those are our quarterly reports. Those are always good to look at and review. And I'd like to have a motion to put these on file. And may I have a motion? We have a member motion. It's just information. Oh, it is information. Very good. So we don't have to put these on file, but thank you. And does anybody have any questions, anything stick out that they want to ask our auditor? And maybe, why don't we let our auditor maybe highlight some things, and then it may generate some questions. Is that appropriate?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, just a couple of things I wanted to point out. First of all, in the general fund, and Member Woolrab is not here. Is she even still in this committee? She is, right? Okay. She had asked about the American Reserve Plan Act, the ARPA money, and that is in the general fund, which I had previously told you guys. And that is including 876,000 and change is in that. So that's why those numbers look a little higher in actual, because it is including, almost, $900,000 in revenue and expenses in there. And then CDEP expenses, which are some of the micro loans that you guys have issued, is another 175,000 of expenses in here. It's the other. And the nursing home had COVID revenue of 140,000 and essential worker bonuses of 46,500 paid during the quarter. And I guess one thing I wanted to point out is that the nursing home has lost, their fund balance has decreased another $1.18 million. And that is They have even struck a deal where they're paying less for the medical insurance than other departments, so, we're still bleeding. And then the special revenue funds they kind of run like clockwork.
Any questions for her? I think that explanation as to where everything fell is helpful. So 1.18 million, you said? And that's
That
just,
is on the first page, almost at the bottom, you see, it's in parentheses, $1,185,308.
Okay.
Now, they will get end of year transfers that I obviously, since this is January 5th, 6th, I don't know, obviously do not have those. And so that will prop them up a little bit, but
so we're still seeing bleeding.
what?
We're still seeing bleeding,
Yes, ma'am.
which I think this committee was aware of that, but it's really brought to light when we see it on a quarterly statement, so. All right. Any questions? Thank you very much. We
Thank you.
really do appreciate the timeliness of this, and so thank you.
Well, and I apologize. I was going to get this in for December, but my aunt was tragically killed in November, and just life
okay.
is what it is sometimes. So,
Yeah.
Thank you. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday.
Happy New Year.
Same to you.
That's your New Year's resolution, huh? Oh, I think many of us have been there. We are moving on to 4D 1A, and that's accept and place on file the county treasurer's monthly financial reports. And I believe everybody has a copy, and Ms. McNeil is here to have a conversation with us. May I have a motion to put this on file? Member Barnett makes the motion, and Member Lehman gives us a second. Welcome.
Are you ready for me to go?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll take off. So the first report you have is a summary of our local government tax revenue. And I'll just get right into what I think that you're going to be most interested in and that is that, you know, during the year we talked about different things that were changing, that were bringing more tax revenue to the county. And, you know, 12 months of revenue, and I'm just looking at 12 months. We've got accruals yet that we've got to do here in the next 3 months. But looking at a 12-month picture, our overall revenue is up $3,137,000 compared to last year. And that is a gift. I've never seen a jump like that. And, you know, probably one of the largest reasons, it's an unfortunate thing. It's a tax increase to you know, our community that's out there shopping on the internet, but Level the Playing Field had a big impact in our sales tax revenue. Cannabis sales, that had a large impact in our revenue. And then also starting in October, when the PPRT and the income tax distributions were adjusted, the re-rate calculations were done in Springfield due to higher corporate receipts and the adjustments they did to that fund. But anyway, as you can see off to the right there, I've got a 5-year history of local tax revenue, and never, ever, ever have we seen anything like this. So it definitely will be highlighted during the course of our audit, and obviously, you know, will be very good.
from McLean County. So anyway, getting back to looking at budget, that number did very well for the budget. We only had 10.1 million budgeted in revenue. We ended up with 13.2 million. So you've got almost 3.1 million there in revenue coming in that was not part of that budget for 2021. The shared sales tax, that also benefited from the countywide sales tax that it benefited from the level the playing field. But you're not going to see the changes in that as much as you would with ours, because ours covers a number of different areas. And this is just the incorporated part of Bloomington and Normal. So our shared sales tax, total revenue, 12 months, 1.8 million from the town of Normal and 2.5 million from the city of Bloomington. You can see that that's up by 750,000, and that fund ends with 13.1 in equity. Again, these are not audited numbers. It's a very, very preliminary picture of 2021 at this point in time. There's a lot of accrual activity taking place, and that will continue to take place over the next 3 months. But I expect it to remain a very positive picture. Property tax revenue. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Before we move on, so you referenced cannabis as a growth item. Are you referring to the 2,000 over the 932? Is there something else that I'm missing?
No, cannabis is also up in the county-wide sales tax.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That
But it's not.
county-wide sales tax number is picking up. It's bringing in cannabis, and it's also bringing in that level the playing field. So that right there came up because that county-wide, that's the 0.25% that we receive on everything throughout the county, incorporated and unincorporated areas. So, and then the county sales tax is the unincorporated down below. That only benefited from level the playing field.
Okay.
So
but back to the original question, you referenced it. What kind of dollars are we talking?
what?
You referenced cannabis as an increase.
I can't give you that number. It's
Okay.
not broken down for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
it's not, unfortunately. And even if it were, I can't release it because of confidentiality through Illinois Department of Revenue.
Okay. Well, I just was
So-
curious because you referenced it as an increase, but yet you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
no idea what
yeah.
it is.
Well,
So-
I mean, you can see just for the month of December, you have 575,000 in county-wide sales tax there compared to 443,000 a year ago. So, and I think that the cannabis sales have really taken off here in 2021. But you also, like I said, you also have that level of playing field. That was a major change that is benefiting local governments here in the state of Illinois. So,
Okay, but we have no idea what the difference is, essentially, right?
no, I have no,
Okay.
I can't.
I
Thank you.
guess I am a bit confused by that, because if we have it outlined here, where it was 932 and now it's 2,171, That-
Okay, that down there that's just a portion of the cannabis. That's local use down there. So we get cannabis, we get, when cannabis sales, we get a portion from what IDOR classifies as the countywide sales tax. And then we have another local use tax that comes. And then we have also there's another cannabis tax that comes in too. That's not on this report because I cannot disclose it according to IDOR, okay? So it just, I have to be very careful because of the confidentiality situation and the confidentiality rules that Illinois Department of Revenue and the Comptroller's Office has in place. I can't say this specifically because of this specific business, this is what we got from them. Can never do anything like that. So I'm sorry. I can't. Okay. So moving on, any other questions about that? And then moving on down to the property tax revenue. Property tax revenue, the county levied 36.9 million. And the county never ends up getting 100% because of abatements and exemptions and PTAB decisions, things like that that come through after the extension is set. The county ended up with 99.6. That's right on target. That's very average compared to prior years. So I don't have any concerns there. The motor fuel tax, again, there in the month of December, you can see that the benefits of the regular CMFT and then the renewal fund, as well as on the township side, the regular TMFT and then the renewal fund. The renewal fund has brought close to 2.8 million into McLean County here in 2021. So, any questions? Okay. The next report is the investment report. And I heard a little rumbling today about maybe the Fed is looking at increasing the rates, and that's where that would benefit us tremendously, because right now the rates are so low, if they even exist. Our banks are not making money off of us because what they're paying to collateralize, insure our deposits is more than what we're earning. I mean, but fortunately, we have very, very good banks in the community, partners, Commerce Bank, Heartland Bank, that work with us, and Chase Bank. So, but anyway, I did have to cash out 2 CDs. Busey Bank, they wanted to offer me 0.03. So, I mean, it's really, that's where we're at. But maybe 2022 will be a different story. So, throughout all funds, we are holding 99.694 million. The next report is the Blue Cross Blue Shield cost comparison report and summary of our 2021 claims. You can see that for 2021, at this point in time, we have 6,124,000 in claims. That is 144,000 over where we were in 2020. I will again point out the county pays an insurance, a stop loss insurance, basically each month. And in column 8, you can see the adjustments that have been made when we incurred a claim that was over the maximum. So that column 8 is what's coming back to us, basically saving us. And as you can tell, the actual column 6 is where we pay for that insurance. So it's really benefited us to have it. It hasn't entirely cut even, but it has certainly helped. So, and then the final report in front of you is the nursing home. And these are numbers only through November 30th of 2021. We will be seeing the December reports probably later this month, and we'll get that in and come back to you in February with an update. Again, we're still accruing throughout probably March, so nothing will be final until we basically start the audit, and then our auditors go through everything. But the nursing home does continue to have some positive revenue compared to earlier in 2021. November was $554,718. The expenses were slightly over the income for the month. Of expenses exceeded income by 91,873. And then accumulated revenues and accumulated expenses. Right now, accumulated expenses are exceeding revenue by 251,682. So in my numbers, keep in mind, my numbers are through November. I'm not sure what number the auditor presented, exactly what period of time that went through. These numbers are through the end of November, but we do have some transfers that are still going to be coming in. We still have expenses that are going to be recorded. But we end in fund equity, 3,576,000. I do know, and this is the one thing that I would mention. I don't know if the auditor's report captured this, but this year, the committee approved a reimbursement to the nursing home for COVID-related expenses that were paid out in the earlier part of the year. And that, I can't remember exactly when that reimbursement actually flowed into the financials. I think that it was during the month of July or August, but I'm not sure right at this point in time. So I think actually it was in September, because you see in September we had income, we had revenue of 879,589, and instead of half positive. So I just wanted to let you know why I think her numbers on that report sound dramatically different than these numbers. So, but that transaction came in during the month of September. So, okay. What period did her report run through?
It ran through September,
Her report ran through September.
September 30th.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll have to take a look at it then. So, and I don't break out like transfers that are coming in. If there was something that came into through a transfer line, she excludes that, and what she gives you as part of the total loss, she doesn't include transfers in, whereas my numbers just basically summarize everything that's coming in. So, okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll get to the bottom of it in the next month, obviously. But I don't think the nursing home position is that bad. I think that the nursing home has had a much better year. Of course, the ARPA funding has helped significantly, and some of the changes that the nursing home made in the way in which they conduct business and their census numbers has helped. So,
Census is a tad bit higher. That's always where we need to be. And I think we did see some changes, some changes in a nursing home to do cost savings and those kinds of things with the previous administrator. And I think we are continuing to see that with our new administrator, kind of new eyes. Both of those people came in with a different perspective. So I think we're seeing improvements, but a $350,000 decrease in from the start of the year to the end of the year is certainly less than it's been in the
Right.
past, but it's still something we need
Right.
to keep tabs on. So,
and the other thing that you can see from the report is your private pay. Your private pay revenue is
that was
up.
3.
Just there looking at the month of November compared to January, your private pay revenue is at 301,000 compared to 195,000 back in January. So I would assume that with the private pay, they also might have a better rate of collection, a quicker rate of collection on their receivables versus public aid, state of
It
Illinois.
certainly is. And I think if I heard it correctly at our Health Committee meeting on Monday that the rate for Medicare is going up. Was that not correct? That the reimbursement amount was going up?
Reimbursement went up about 30,000?
Please repeat that.
It was around $40 a day for Medicaid.
And since the higher percentage of our residents are Medicaid, that will, every little bit helps. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Definitely.
that's been a real plus for us
Right.
and for our taxpayers, right?
I don't have anything else. Any
Okay.
questions?
So we need to vote. I think we had a motion. So can we vote to put these on file? All in favor of accepting Ms. McNeil's financial reports for December, say aye. Opposed, same sign. And I did want to thank you specifically for doing that 5-year analysis in the little yellow box here.
Mhm.
That's interesting information, so that's good. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. So we're now going to move on to 4A, excuse me, 4E, 1A. And that is request approval of a dissemination agent agreement with the PMA Securities LLC. And that's on 43 through 49. And may I have a motion to put that on the floor? And Member Barnett has the motion and a second by Member Lehman. And Ms. Taylor?
Thank you. This request that has come before the Finance Committee is to use the same financial advisors that we've been using for our bond issue to also be the dissemination agent for us with our bonds. When we moved to change from our previous underwriter to a new process with our new bond, we also needed to receive a new dissemination agent. And so we are very satisfied with the work that PMA has helped us with through the issuing of the new bond. We just recently received our new bond rating, and it is the same as it was before, which is very favorable for the county at a AA plus, or AA1, which is better than a AA plus. So we are very excited about that, and this is important for the continuation of those bonds to make sure that we are filing annually our continuing disclosure agreements with the Electronic Municipal Market Access, EMA website. So I ask that you would accept it.
Questions for Ms. Taylor? All right, seeing none, all in favor of the approval for PMA, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Very good. Thank you. 4E, 2B, and that's request approval of the Emergency Appropriation Ordinance of McLean County Fiscal Year 2022 Combined Annual Appropriation Budget. And that information starts on page 50. And this really has to do with an emergency appropriation for using some American Rescue Plan monies to provide some additional pay for employees who had worked during that pandemic, worked on site during the pandemic. So may I have a motion to put that on the floor? We have a motion by Member Friedrich and a second by Member Lehman. Sorry, missed you there, Vice Chair. And Ms. Taylor, if you want to begin, and then we will be open for discussion.
Thank you. So I'd like to first just explain that it is our effort by administration and through the support of the county board that we are trying to distinguish ourselves as a premier employer of choice in McLean County. We are trying to build the best McLean County, and in those efforts, we are trying to be very prescribed and discerning in our use of ARPA funds. That being said, we feel that our best asset is our employees. And so this proposal that we are presenting tonight is different from the proposal that was introduced at the end of last year, in that this seeks to provide premium pay for all of our full-time and part-time county employees that worked between the period that is designated in your memo, which we found to be the height of the pandemic for that year. And we have prescribed the way and the manner in which we would calculate that pay. And it is to follow the interim final rule through ARPA, through the Treasury. And so I'd like to just address something that was brought up earlier. Our interim rule states that fiscal recovery fund payments can be used by recipients to provide premium pay to eligible workers performing essential work during the COVID-19 public health emergency, and that these workers must be on site. So the rule states that a worker would not be engaged in essential work and accordingly would not be eligible to receive premium pay for telework performed from a residence. And so that is why we had to distinguish this proposal in the manner that we did. We really feel that our workers in McLean County provided essential critical infrastructure work no matter what department they were in, because they kept our county running. And so we present this proposal to you to entertain.
All right, discussion. Member Friedrich.
Can you give me a number, not tie it down, but who'd be excluded in our county, a total number?
Who was excluded?
Yeah, who would be excluded in
Total
this?
number.
Do you have that spreadsheet? Oops. Do you have that spreadsheet before you?
Is it on now? I don't,
No.
I don't have, the number that would be excluded, but the reason that it only goes through, grade 12 employees is because the interim final rule states that premium pay is targeted towards lower income employees. So anything grade 13 and above is department heads, higher paid managers, and so forth.
Kathy, I recall after reading, and we looked at the pay periods and all the pay periods that listed. And so the spreadsheet that I looked at was broken out by pay periods, and the number of people who didn't qualify because they worked from home, the numbers that were there, all the pay period, for both, there are usually 2 pay periods during a month, and then those that had partial, so they might have been there for 1 pay period but not the other. And the one that you're asking about looked like there were 11. Would that number? And that would be over all those pay periods. So not necessarily the same 11 people, but 11 different incidents, I think, is what it would be, correct?
I'd have to look at my spreadsheet to confirm that.
But it was a rather low number. Is that not correct, Kathy? Ms.
Yeah.
Dreyer?
Yes, I believe so.
I would concur that that is correct. Many of the essential services that we provide through the county are not able to be conducted from an at-home workplace.
Any other questions or comments? They don't have to necessarily be. Yes, Member Barnett.
When would county employees be expected to receive this?
Our intention would be to double check our figures after it is approved through the full board, and then they would receive it at their next pay period. We would coordinate that with the treasurer's office and with Brenda Jones, the payroll clerk, so as not to overwhelm or inundate her. So we would coordinate that with her.
So it would be in a regular paycheck. It wouldn't be a special pay cycle. So it would mean that just bringing up the tax implications, as we all know, when there is, and if you would like to come forward, please, Ms. McNeil. There are tax implications either way. I understand that, but you wouldn't run it as a special payroll. It would be pulled into the gross salary at the pay
We
period.
would actually suggest running it as a special payroll. We also would suggest running it probably in February at the earliest, because our main focus at this point in time is getting W-2s and 941s done. And I know that there's a lot of work that goes into that. So probably the first non-payday Friday in the month of February. But of course, we would, sit down and discuss it and find out what the impact is, the number of employees.
Thank you. I think that's good information, good question, Member Burnett, and good question, Member Friedrich, too.
Just my recommendation.
Yeah, Ms. Taylor, could you reread that paragraph that you read?
It says the interim final rule states that fiscal recovery fund payments may be used by recipients to provide premium pay to eligible workers performing essential work during the COVID-19 public health emergency, and these workers who have been and continue to be relied on to maintain continuity of operations of essential critical infrastructure sectors. In order to comply with the interim final rule, a worker would not be engaged in essential work and accordingly may not receive premium pay for telework performed from a residence.
Any other questions or comments? All right, seeing none, all in favor of approving the emergency appropriation ordinance? And I think that truly is found on page 51 and signatures on 52. Say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And we are going to move on then to paying the bills. And Michelle Anderson, our auditor, has reviewed the bills and certified that they comply with the McLean County Board ordinances, resolutions, and policies. And that gives us a total for this finance committee of $1,325,741.58. May I have a motion to pay the bills? Member Friedrich, we have a motion, and I don't look to my left very often, so Vice Chair Thompson, you seconded that. He wants to be over there. All in favor of paying the bills, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Very good. Bills are paid. Is there any other business or communication that we should bring forward to this committee, other than Member Thompson wants to be on my right in the future? Seeing none, I believe we can adjourn this meeting. Thank you so very much, everyone, for attending.